friends, welcome to my channel Animated Study.
In sorting method, if you are taking one element as a pivot element and then with respect to pivot element you are exchanging all other elements in such a way you will get all smaller elements at the left to the pivot element and all bigger element to the right of pivot element. And using these techniques you can quickly sort the elements rather than bubble sort, insertion sort and selection sort. That's why this kind of techniques is known as the quick sort. So let's see the algorithm of the quick sort. So here we have a quick sort function, and in the quick sort functions we have another functions that is called the partition function. So you can see the partition function here. So partition functions is giving us the index, that is giving the final positions of the pivot elements. So you are getting all the smaller elements from low to p minus 1 and all bigger elements than the pivot are from the p plus 1 to high. So to find the element final position p, we are calling the partition method. So let's see line by line. So initially we will call the quicksort functions and we are passing the array. Here you can see the array from 0 to 9. We are taking low is at 0 and high is at 9. Now we will check the condition low less than high. So this is the termination conditions. If your low is less than high, you are going for the partitions and recursive call of quicksort. If your low and high both are equal, that means it is a single element list, and you know you don't require to sort the single element list. So you can say this is the recursive call, and in recursive call you require the termination conditions. So this is what the termination conditions, that every time you have to check the low less than high. Here you can see low is at 0 and high is at 9. So low less than high is true. So we are going inside and here we are defining one variable p, that is final positions of our selected pivot elements, and we'll call the functions to find that final position, that is partition a low and high. So we will call the partition function here, and in partition functions we will pass the array and low and high values. Now in the partition functions, first instructions is defining the pivot. So here we are taking last element as a pivot element. You can take first elements or any middle elements, or you can take elements randomly also. And you have a temp variables, that is for the swapping purpose. So next instructions you are taking one variables, that is indicating low minus 1. So here I is representing minus 1 right now, and you are taking another variable j. So I variable we are taking for keeping track of the bigger elements, and we are taking j variables is looking for the smaller elements than the pivot elements. We are starting to find the smaller and bigger elements from the left side only. You can also take to find the bigger elements from the left side and smaller element from the right side also. So you can scan your list from left to right to find the bigger elements, and you can find the smaller elements from right to left. But here we are taking both variables from left to right. So here we will start with the for loop, and we will take j is equal to low. So low is at 0. We will take j is equal to 0. J is less than high, high is 9. So 0 is less than 9. So we are going inside and then we'll checking the condition AJ, that is 82 less than pivot elements. Pivot element is 35. So 82 less than 35, condition false. So we will increment j by 1. So now j is equal to 1. J is less than high, that is 9. So 1 is less than 9. So condition true. You are checking AG, that is 20 now, less than or equal to pivot. Pivot is 35. So 20 less than 35. So condition true. So you are taking I plus plus. So you increment I by 1. So I is now indicating 82 and J is indicating 20. Now from the next instructions, you are taking temp is equal to AI is equal to AG is equal to temp. So ultimately with this line, you are swapping AI and AJ. So here you can see you have swapped 20 and 82. Now you are going ahead, you increment J by 1. So now J is 2. You're checking 2 is less than 9. You are going inside the loop. You are checking AG, that is 30 less than pivot, that is 35. So condition true. So again you increment I by 1 and then you are exchanging or swapping AI and AJ. So here you can see 82 and 30 are swapped. Now you increment j by 1. Now j is equal to 3 and high is on 9. So 3 is less than 9. Condition true. Check the condition. AJ, that is 92. Pivot is 35. So 92 less than 35. Condition false. You are moving ahead. Now your j is on 4. 4 is less than 9. Condition true. So you check the condition. AJ less or equal to pivot. So 48 less than 35. Condition false. You are moving ahead. Your j is now 5. 5 is less than 9. Condition true. So you check another condition, that is AJ, that is 11 less than pivot, that is 35. Yes, 11 is less than 35. So you are going inside the condition. You increment I by 1 and then you swap I and jth element. So you can see here 82 and 11 get swapped. Now again you increment j by 1. So j is on 6 now. 6 is less than 9. Condition true. You check AG, that is 72 less than pivot, that is 35. Condition false. Again you increment j by 1. So now j is 7. High is 9. 7 less than 9. Condition true. You check AJ less than pivot. Here AJ is 25 and pivot is 35. So 25 less than 35. Condition true. So increment I by 1 and exchange the elements. So here you can see ith element and jth elements are swapped. Now increment j by 1. So your j is now 8. High is 9. 8 less than 9. Condition true. You are checking the next condition. AJ less or equal to pivot. AJ is 40. Pivot is 35. So condition false. Now increment j by 1. So your j is now 9. High is on 9. 9 less than 9. Condition false. So you are coming out of the for loop, and from this code you can see here you are taking temporary is equal to I plus 1. I plus 1 is equal to high and high is equal to temp. So ultimately you are swapping the I plus 1 and high elements. Since high is our pivot element and I plus 1 is now indicating 48, so we will swap 48 and 35 through this code. and then we are returning I plus 1. So since I is on third index, I plus 1 is indicating the 4. So here from this partition method, you are returning the 4. So P is on fourth position now in the array. So you can see here all smaller elements, that is 20, 30, 11 and 25, are at the left of the pivot elements, and all bigger elements, that are 82, 72, 92, 40 and 48, are on the right side of the pivot elements. And after that, you can apply the same techniques for this list from low to p minus 1 using this call, and from p plus 1 to high using this recursive call of the functions. So ultimately what we are doing here, we are dividing our problems into smaller subproblems. Then again using recursive call, we are solving the smaller subproblems in the same way. So this kind of techniques, we are dividing the problems into subproblems, and then we are conquering the subproblems, and we are solving the entire problems. So this kind of methods is known as the divide and conquer method. So quicksort is nothing but in category of divide and conquer algorithms. So if you are talking about the time complexity of quicksort algorithm, if your list is entirely in reverse order, that means your smallest element is at the end of the list. You are taking every time that elements as a pivot elements. In partitions, you are running the loop from low to high. After completion of partition function, you will get your smallest element at the first, and then in the recursive call, you are getting the list of first index to the 9 index. Similarly, every times you are getting list of n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, n minus 4 and so on. So you are getting the polynomial in the worst case in terms of n square. So your time complexity of worst case is big O n square. But in quicksort, you can eliminate the worst case. How you can eliminate the worst case? You can eliminate these situations by taking pivot randomly instead of taking all the time last element as a pivot element. So you can easily eliminate the worst case. If you are talking about the best case, your entire list is in sorted order. And if your entire list is in sorted order, and if you are taking middle element as a pivot element, every time you can see half of the list is smaller than the pivot element and half of the list is bigger than pivot elements. So this kind of things is working on log n. So here in the quicksort, your recursive call will work on log n times. So every time you have a call of quicksort of n by 2 elements and n by 2 elements and this kind of two calls. So you calculate the recurrence relationship and you will find the best case time complexity of this algorithm is big O n log n. In average case also, if you are taking pivot element randomly, all elements are divided in nearby two equal subgroup, you are getting time complexity of average case is also big O n log n. As far as the space complexity is concerned, this algorithm is in place. No need of any extra memory to store the elements when you are sorting the elements using quicksort. But obviously, you are using here recursion. So in recursions to maintain stack, you need some extra memory to store the function call in the stack. But you can use these things iterative also, and you can eliminate the extra memory requirements. So after completion of the first partition, we got 35 is on its final positions, that is place 4, and we have now two smaller sub problems. This is the first sub problems and this is the second sub problems. So we are calling quicksort for low to p minus 1, and we are taking again 25 as a pivot. We are taking j is on 20, 20 is smaller than 25. We are moving ahead. Then we'll take 30. 30 is bigger than 25. 11. 11 is smaller than 25. So what we will do? We will swap 11 and 30. So we have a 30 and 25. Then when we are returning the functions, we are swapping 30 and 25. So at last you are getting 25 on second index. Then again your problems is divided into two sub problems. One sub problems is from 0 to 1 and second sub problem is for the 3. Now you solve these sub problems. You are taking 11 as a pivot and then you are getting I plus 1 here, and then you are exchanging this element. Then you are getting 11 and 20. Since 30 is the single element, so it is fixed now. So you can see you have solved these sub problems. Now you are taking the second sub problems, that is p plus 1 to high, and in that you are taking 48 as a pivot. Then you are taking 82. 82 is bigger than 48. Now you increment your j variable to 72. 72 is bigger than 48. Then you moving ahead, 92. 92 is also bigger than 48. Then you are moving ahead, 40. 40 is smaller than 48. So you swap the elements from I plus 1 to j. So you swap 40 and 82. When your j is reached to the high index, you swap I plus 1, that is 72, and 48. So you are getting 48 is on final position, that is 6, and you have a one sublist of single element and second sublist of 3 element. So again you do the recursive call for 7 to 9. So in this sublist, you take 72 as a pivot. Now you take j variables on 92. 92 is bigger than 72. Moving ahead, you are taking 82. 82 is bigger than 72. So at last, with the last line of partition, you exchange 92 and 72. So now you are getting 72 on its final position, and then you have a last call that is from 8 to 9, and in that you apply the partition method, and there is no requirements of any swap here. So at last you are getting entire list is sorted. So this is the quicker way to sorting the elements when its time complexity on average case is n log n. So in many programming languages library, we are using quicksort rather than other algorithms that is working on n square like bubble sort and selection sort. So this is what all about the quicksort. So if you like this video, please subscribe the channel and share the video and press the bell icon for my new video notification. Thank you for watching.